So, I am the owner of a business, and the business is in early childhood education. There are several things that I have learned. Every time an employee tells me, "Oh, I'm going to stick around to really work with you. I see what you're trying to do. I see your vision. I am going to, I want to help you achieve that vision," they don't never last. Like, why do you have to lie? You're an adult. There is no reason why you should lie or open your mouth to lie to another adult, especially when you have agreed to work for that adult. I've never worked for anybody and just lied to them to their face for no reason. Like, just none whatsoever. And I just, I really feel like, I really believe, it's not a feeling, I really believe that I enjoyed what I did when I worked for someone. And if I didn't enjoy it, I quit. It wasn't a long spiel. It wasn't me telling them that I was happy and I actually was not. It was just me simply making a decision in my head to quit or resign from that job. And in early childhood education, there are so many people who lie. And why are you even working in early childhood education lying when our whole purpose and goal is to raise a child? And we tell all children, tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth no matter what. But then as an adult, you doing the total opposite what you're asking a child to do. If you're telling a child to tell the truth, then you need to tell the truth. What is it that I or any other adult can do to you? We're all adults. I'm not your parent. I'm not your God. Like, there's nothing that I can personally do to you. Nothing at all. So tell the truth. And then if we're trying to build model citizens, or just children who mimic behaviors that are valued in our society, telling the truth should be one of them. And if they see you lying, then they're going to lie. There is never going to be a time in their life that they believe that telling the truth is what you should do. And there are still people out here who value telling the truth. Like, we are not working together because we're friends. We're working together because we both chose that this was the employer that we wanted to work with. That's it. It's nothing more than that. It's nothing less than that. You're not my friend. Now, if you happen to be my friend because we have the same values, morals, and we share the same belief system, then hey, that's cool. But every place I go into, I'm not expecting that these are the people I'm going to chit chat it up with, or this is going to be my friend long term. I'm not going to work for that. I'm going to work to do my job so I can go home and be with my family. My family consists of my children, my mother, my father. I am going to work to support my lifestyle outside of this building that I have to clock in to do my job. This job is going to allow me to live the lifestyle that I choose to live. It is not there for me to make more friends, for me to figure out, get counseling, for me to get a free meal. No, the money they give me, I have agreed to that amount of money, and that money will give me the lifestyle that I want to live. Every job I've had, I've always looked at it like that. I've worked at American Airlines. Why was the purpose of me working for American Airlines? Was because I got to travel at a discounted rate. I got to get on a plane anytime I wanted to get on a plane and to travel to any city, wherever it would be in the world, and go there. I could go there for 24 hours. I could go there for a weekend, depending on my schedule. So that was my purpose for working at American Airlines. I've worked as, I've worked for delivery services. Why was that the purpose? Because I needed to pay my bills. Oh, I like to shop. Let me go shop for somebody else's groceries. I know how picky I am about my food. If I do a good job, they'll leave a great review. They'll give me a tip. They'll consistently ask me to be the person who shops for them on their behalf, for them or their family. I'm okay with that. But what I was not okay was somebody assuming that this was the only job I had. No, this is not the only job I have. I like to travel. This job pays my bill, my extra bills that I've created, and allows me to travel. You know, these were choices that I made. It allows me to do that. I've worked for a discount store where you buy your soap and food and clothes. You could buy your shoes and batteries, things of that sort. I worked at Myers. I didn't have the issue there. I needed a job. Graduated from college. I had a child. I needed a job right away. And I needed a job that would be accommodating to my schedule being a new mom. I worked for Citi in their collections department. I liked that job too because I got to talk. I got to sit on the phone, talk to people, tell them their bill was due. They either was going to pay the bill or they weren't going to pay the bill. I always was respectful. Sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am. If I can't pronounce your first name, can't pronounce, I can pronounce your last name. But if I can't pronounce your first name or the conversation is getting hostile, my conversation always is sir, ma'am, Mrs., Ms., because now you can't say that I'm not being respectful. I'm still asking you for money. I'm still asking you to do whatever it was that I needed you to do, but I'm being respectful because I'm saying sir or ma'am. If we don't come to an agreement, we don't come to an agreement. But my job is still to collect on this bill and allow you to pay me so you're no longer past due. That was my job with them. When I became a teacher, my job was to make sure I educated my students. And I did the best of my ability to make sure that I covered the state standards, whatever those may be. My job also is to make sure that student feels comfortable in my classroom. Why? Because a student will never learn until they feel comfortable with you, until they know that you value them, you appreciate them. But I've also had classrooms that I've been so strict and they didn't know me that everybody in the classroom thought that I didn't like them. The black kids, the white kids, the Latino kids, the Asian kids. Well, shoot, if I don't like the black kids and I identify as black, that means I don't like myself, which is the absolutely untrue. So I'm telling you all of these stories to say that you need to own up to who you are and the reason why you're picking a job or selecting a career that you want to be in. You have to be honest with yourself. That is not my choice. That ain't nobody else's choice. That is simply your choice. You made the choice to tell that person you wanted that job. And because you made that choice, you need to make the choice of just being truthful. You don't have to have extra conversations. Oh, I'm going to be with you. I've had 2 employees tell me that. And then it just turns out to be a lie that you can't even own up to. How is it that you can tell everybody else you leaving, but you can't even pick up the phone to tell me you leaving and your last day is on this day, but you call me about what time, you texted me about what time is lunch. You texted me about, is lunch going to be the same today? You texted me about all these other stupid things that have nothing directly to do with you except for what time you leaving to take your lunch that you then extend out to another lunch because you want to sit around and talk to your colleagues versus actually looking at your lesson plan, putting assessment data in for a student, making sure your area, your space is nice and tidy. But you want to do all this other stuff where you just wasting time, and just people have all types of excuses. You know how many days I've gone to work and my mental health probably was not there. It absolutely was not there. But guess what? I didn't want to be homeless. I knew that. I knew that my big behind wanted to eat. And so because I knew that, I went ahead and I did my job. There are so many days I can count on a hand where I was just so sad. And I know I mentally was not there, but I made sure everybody knew today is not the day. I'm mentally not there. It's nothing against you. It's nothing against anyone in this room. It's everything that I put myself into. And because of that, I'm here because I can't take it off because my children may need me to be at home with them. And I don't want to be at home when they need me and I can't get any money coming into my house. Those are honest things that I tell myself. And so because if I told myself that, that's something I believe others should tell themselves. You should be truthful with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. If you can't be truthful with yourself, how will you expect somebody else to be truthful to you? You can't even expect that. So don't even ask it. If you can't even be truthful to yourself, why would you demand somebody else be truthful to you? You shouldn't even want nobody to be truthful to you. You should just sit back and just roll with life however life comes. You don't have any expectations because you've never admitted to yourself that you can be truthful with your own self. And if you can't be truthful with yourself, you definitely can't. You can't pour into someone else. Because what are you pouring in? Negativity. Because you lying to your own self. Oh, I'm the finest thing out here. No, you not. No, you not. No, you not. I'm smart. No, you not. Because if you were smart, you wouldn't have did that. Or you would understand this concept. Or you would do some research to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z. You just wouldn't be sitting up there taking somebody's word. You would figure it out on your own. Like, oh, this person said this. You would do the research to make sure that what that person was saying was accurate. And when they were accurate, you would then turn around and say, hey, such and such said this. And it turned out to be true. Recently, I was looking on the internet, just scrolling through Instagram. And this lady came on and she was like, all of these designers are made here in this country. And these are all the purses right here, right? And all the goods that this designer, everyone has known for many, many years that this designer does, these designers are coming here to do this and do that. They're not going to where people think they are. So this one, I read through the comments, I scrolled through. This one person said, stop lying to people. This is not true. This video was not made there, right? And so I DM'd the person who wrote that comment and I said something to them. I said, where was this video made? Is this really true what you're saying? They said yes. So I did some research. Come to find out, that person was absolutely correct. I DM'd them back and I said, wow, you were really correct. I did some research on my own and I found out that this was the place that video on Instagram was filmed. And the way I know that you were correct and that I am correct is because the same purses and the setup that was in that video was the same that was in this article I read online. And that person said, you found the information on your own. You did a good. I'm glad that you now know the truth. But I'm tired of people lying on what is happening in the country that I live in. That's not really the real reality. And I was like, well, thank you so much for, being bold enough to go on somebody's post and say the truth. So with that being said, it's just so important to tell the truth. There are people out there that value someone telling them the truth, and there are people out there that won't value it. And if you are somebody who values someone telling the truth, you're going to find and connect with others. But when you get a job, don't just get a job just to pay your bills. Get a job, that will lead you to a career, something that will be lasting in your life, something that will allow you to build. I want to say this too, no matter what career you go in, a job can turn into a career, and a career can get you the money that you desire. You seek employment in areas that you like. You don't seek employment opportunities and career opportunities in areas you do not like. That is the dumbest thing. If you know you don't like people, you should not be working in a hospital. You should not be working for a taxi company. You shouldn't be driving Uber or Lyft. You shouldn't work in the hospitality, a hotel, airline company, a cruise ship. You shouldn't do hair. You shouldn't be a barber. Anything that allows you to directly work with people, you should not be in that. You definitely shouldn't be no teacher. No preschool teacher, no middle school teacher, and no high school teacher. You should not be working in any field that requires you to work with people if you don't like people. That makes no sense. Go be a mortician. They're dead. They're not talking back. If you don't like people, go out there and be a fisherman. You don't have to work with nobody. All you're doing is catching some fish. Now, if you need a team to help you on a boat, yes, you have to work with people. But if you want to do your own little one buck thing or whatever, you need to find careers. Go be an accountant. You do have to work with people when it comes to looking at a company's books, but day to day, you looking at a computer screen and making sure that the information inputted into the system is accurate. It requires you to work with no one. Do not be a bartender. Do not work in a grocery store as a cashier. Like maybe you the stocker at night that only allows you to pick up the items and put them where they need to go. But yeah, don't stop lying to folks. Just stop lying to people. You a grown person. You 50, 65, 45, 30 years, 30 years old. You don't know that you shouldn't be lying to people. You absolutely don't know that you should be lying to people. You should not be lying to people. Like, I'm so baffled by that. I'm absolutely baffled and disturbed all the way.